Hello, in this video I want to show you how to graph a function and kind of manipulate the graph of the function in a software package called GeoGebra. So this is your first question on the lab assignment, is to graph a function that models a particle being thrown upwards. So if you could click on the hyperlink to get to GeoGebra. GeoGebra is a free software. You could, if you just Googled GeoGebra, the fastest way to get there, you're going to get to the main GeoGebra website, and you want to make sure to click on GeoGebra Classic. That will be the software we'll be using for most of our labs in this class at least. And here we have the GeoGebra Classic main screen. So I've got a graph right here, and over here I'm going to call this the input bar. This is the input bar. So I want to enter the function p of t equals minus 4.9t squared plus 18t plus 2. So p parentheses t equals minus 4.9t squared. And when you have the square exponent, you have to move over to the right, otherwise you'll stay in that exponent. So minus 4.9t squared plus 18t, and then plus 2. You see a graph here on the right show up. So I want to double check that I have that graph correct. Minus 4.9t squared plus 18t plus 2. Okay. All right, so here I have the graph, and if you click and drag, you can move the screen around. Now what I want to do is change a couple features of this graph. If I right-click and my cursor's on the graph, it'll say function p. I'm going to click on settings. Here you can do a number of things. We have a name, a definition. I'm going to change the show label to caption and value. And then if you move up here, you can't move the caption value too much, but at least you can kind of see the function value show up. If I change that to just value, it'll just show that. To name, it'll just be p. So I'll keep it as caption and value. And I'm going to click on color. I want to make this black. So make that position function black. And style, sometimes it's nice to change the thickness if I want to make it a little easier to see. I'm going to click the X over here. And so we have our graph. Now I think this is supposed to model a particle. So if it's being thrown 2 meters up, and I'd like to see the top of this. We don't care about negative seconds. That doesn't make sense. So a quick way to kind of zoom in, if you scroll your mouse, you can zoom in and out, but it's maybe not the most ideal. So anywhere besides the graph, if you right-click, instead of P, it's just going to say graphics. Go down here to the graphics setting. And then here we can see X min. Let's see, I'll make this a -1. I don't really care about negatives, but I like seeing a little bit to the left. X max, the particle goes negative after 4. So for X max, let's just make that, say, 5. I don't really care after this point. And Y min, negative 1.2. That's fine, but I'd like to see the top of this graph. So let's make this Y max 10. That's not enough. 15. That's not enough. 20. There we go. So now I got a good picture of the graph kind of zoomed into the important features for this application. And you can click on the X over here to get rid of this. All right. One other thing, later in the lab, I'm going to ask you to include pictures of your graphs. There's multiple ways to do this. I'm using a Mac. So Mac is Command-Shift-4. And you can see this little cursor kind of change, and I could take a little picture. It's a screenshot app. I could highlight right here if I wanted to. Opens up, and what I could do here, I can click copy right here, and then I could be able to copy this onto a lab report if I wanted to. Click on done. Right here, paste. That did not work. Oh, here we go. So So you need to keep track of where, usually it's your download screen. I have a screenshot folder where the image is saved. And from here, then I could copy and paste onto a document. We'll talk about this. If it's way too big, you could shrink this down. It's not definitely the only way to get graphics over, but this is one way. If you're using a PC instead of a Mac, your computer probably has a snippet. So if you search for SNIPPET, that gives you the same exact feature of taking a screenshot.